Okay, so I'm going to take a few minutes here to cover the 2024 Lead Nurturing and Acceleration Benchmark Survey recently published by Demand Gen Report. The headline, Amidst Lack of Confidence, Practitioners Increasing Data Collection to Enhance Lead Nurturing and Acceleration, really, caught my attention. So I was hoping that it would cover how this increased data collection is being done. All right, so on slide 2, we get an executive summary. Okay, and it reveals the negative sentiment about nurture programs, with 51% of respondents believing their lead nurturing initiatives need improvement, which reflects an 11% year over year decrease in satisfaction. Okay, that's interesting. Now, I want to hone in on the biggest challenge, right? That's developing targeted content by buyer stage or interest. And I'm really curious if the paper kind of unpacks this and gives us some stuff to work on, right? So let's find out. So slide 3 is going to be titled here, identifying and implementing new approaches. All right, let's see what this is about. So they give us some bar graphs here that say, retargeting, intent data, and content engagement data. Uh, but there's nothing specific mentioned. There's no best practice, not even a definition of what they mean by retargeting. There's not a note about, there is a note about ungating content to making sense when doing account-based nurture, but this whole slide doesn't make any sense really whatsoever. I recommend just skipping it, frankly. All right, so next slide here. Slide 4 has no title. All right, but it wildly interjects some graphs here about the purpose of nurture. Ooh, okay, it's pretty useless, to be honest. I mean, except for a note that 42% of practitioners claim nurture increases lead performance by 20%. That's down here at the bottom. All right, so that's interesting, but it's really vague and it lacks any kind of detail that would make it more useful. So I'm going to say skip this slide as well. All right, so let's get into slide number 5. All right, so it actually holds a little bit of promise. All right, segmenting databases and creating nurture content. All right, so what is this going to be about? Well, it goes on to break down how nurture mavens are segmenting their leads, right, by industry, title, funnel stage, and persona. But again, this is really basic stuff. I mean, that if you're going to be doing any segmentation at all, then you might as well go all in and combine all of these or a few of them, whereas it implies that you're either doing industry or title or funnel or persona, and that just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. So now there is actually a pretty powerful note down here at the bottom. And I want to go and unpack this even more, because it says here there's a definite correlation between nurture exclusive content and lead nurturing success, with 100% of respondents with excellent lead nurturing programs using nurture exclusive content, while only less than 1/3 of those programs that need improvement could say the same. This is actually probably the most important thing said in the entire paper. All right. The point is that you want to have exclusive content that for your nurture programs, period. That's it. Like, if those who say they've got great nurture, they have exclusive content. Those who say their nurture kind of sucks, they don't. All right. And this actually speaks to some of the ideas I've been having and sharing separately about VIP programs in exchange for form fills, not just sending your leads to generic SDR spam. The rest of this stuff, email, newsletters, webinars, whatnot, that's not helpful. It's way too vague. So forget about that and move on. All right. So slide 6. All right. So crafting the most successful lead nurture cadence. All right. Well, this doesn't talk about cadence. I don't even know what this is talking about. This is utterly confusing. Skip this slide. All right. Because it's not helpful. All right. And then this is the coup de grace of uselessness, really. I mean, there's no title, and it dives in with some vague references to time periods and whatnot. This graph here is utterly inadequately labeled. I don't even know what they're talking about. And then they make some sort of conclusion about a weekly cadence, but okay, so that refers to the last slide, and then what? I mean, for how long? And like, okay, so something about 11 and 20. Okay, forget it. This is way too vague, incomplete, unedited, needs a ton of work, totally confusing. Move on. All right, and then we get into the conclusion, which gets back to, well, why are we doing nurture? We want to increase conversion rates. Yeah, duh. Okay, finally. So it's a rehash of why practitioners are doing this. Fine, and then they pander to us about something about brand awareness and forging strong connections.
Morals for spring. Groundbreaking.
But we thought about shooting.